Hey peeps, it's Tripl-L, and today I'm here to talk to you about Bleach's penultimate chapter, Bleach chapter 685, a perfect ending. Well, what can I say? People thought this was going to be the last chapter of Bleach. It's not. You have one more chapter, so one more chapter of Bleach. I mean, it's not great for people that don't want to see it end, but it's nicer than ending on this chapter. But because this is the penultimate chapter, we are going to do this top moment style because actually there's a lot of things going on with the characters, a lot of promotions everywhere, and I only think it's fair to highlight it and give Bleach the proper respect it deserves, because usually I just do impressions for Bleach, but this time I made some notes and just things I want to talk about. So let's get into it. Let's just talk. First moment, I like the color page. Bleach hasn't gotten a color page in a really long time. And I like that this one is Ichigo. After seeing the content of the chapter, I really want to say this is Ichigo right after the fight, right after he defeated Yhwach. So in that regard, it's a pretty cool color page. Ichigo looks proud, he's alive after the fight, so that's good. Anyway, let's actually get into the actual chapter. We get a 10-year time skip. Now, for me, this was a sign of cop-out. It was a cop-out. I would have rather seen what happened immediately after the last hit landed, but they just decided, let's just time skip, let's show that everything's okay. And with the time skip, it gives you this notion that everything was okay after that fight with Bach. And we get that confirmation later on with Hisugaya in Shuhei's segment, and that's fine. But overall, I think I would have preferred, personally, having that one little, or just a few pages of the after the fight wrap up, but having the time skip is fine. It's just showing peace, so it's a strong moment and it establishes the rest of the chapter. So the next moment I actually really enjoyed was Kyoraku at Ukitake's grave, and man, I actually, I felt for that guy. It's nice that he's still at the grave. It's nice that he went to visit it, and I think that's very telling of Kyoraku's character. Actually, there's a lot of little moments in this chapter that tells you a little bit of what's going on in certain characters' minds, and I praise Kubo for that regard, but I was very happy seeing Kyoraku at the grave. Next moment I really enjoyed was the shadow that was rising out of the tiles. Now, what is that shadow? What's going on? Is it the Soul King? Is it Bach? Is it the Soul King's limbs? Is it the guy from the Zero Division? Is it the Shadow Lizard from Toriko? What's going on there? And as we find out later in the chapter, this might be something that Mayuri in particular went to investigate, or something that has to do with the Reiatsu that they're picking up. I'm going to be very excited to see what it actually ends up being next chapter, and I think the next chapter is in 2 weeks. Moving on. The next moment I very much enjoyed was the Nemu moment, the Nemu Hachigo. So she is the next Nemu, and this is confirming that the original Nemu is gone. And the most important thing of note here is that we also get to see Mayuri, and he's fine. But what's important is seeing that Mayuri hasn't given his last name to this Nemu, at least not from the way he's talking to her. So what does that say about Mayuri? Is he maybe a little bit more detached from this Nemu? Or is he trying just to keep her at a distance because he doesn't want to get hurt about it? It's very interesting. Or it could have just been that he said this just so that the reader knows this is the 8th Nemu, but then again, you would have already known if you saw a child like Nemu. Regardless, what this might be saying about Mayuri's inner struggles is, I think, a strong moment for that reason. Next moment I very much enjoyed was the Rockies' interactions with his squad. Mostly them saying that they're at his disposal and him getting pissed off. And that was all very nice. It's nice to see that the Rockies doing okay. And the next moment I very much enjoyed was noticing that Ikkaku was the vice captain of this squad now. Again, good to have a promotion for Ikkaku. He very much deserves it. And it's cool to see him and Yumichika behind Zaraki at every moment. The next moment I enjoyed was right after that, Shinji and Momo. Again, this is just another nice interaction between two characters. And it's kind of funny seeing Shinji giving out direct captain orders when it's frivolous things. Just let Zaraki run wild. It's them. They're weird. They do whatever they want. So I very much enjoyed that moment. Again, a lot of lighthearted moments, and I very much enjoyed that after all the fighting we had in the hundreds of chapters before. The next moment I very much enjoyed was Ida's sense of duty and his promotion. Or him coming down from the mountain and him talking about what it means to be a captain and that he's not worthy of it yet. And I think it's a strong moment. I would have loved to see Kumamura with him, maybe in dog form, but seeing that he's there and he does take being a captain seriously and he does try to train, it's a nice moment overall for the character. He's not one of the Bleach characters that got a lot in the past, but for this, I respected that. I respect the character a lot. The next moment I very much enjoyed was finding out that Kensei is alive and so is Shuhei. So this is actually some of the divisive things in this chapter, I think, mostly because how is Kensei alive? Last time we saw him, he was a converted zombie. How did Mayuri manage to reverse the process of, being killed? I'm assuming he took advantage of the fact that one of the Quincy powers was to bring a corpse back to life somehow, and then he could probably use that and somehow bring the identity back with it. Mayuri's a mad genius, so if it was a Mayuri explanation, I'll accept it. Next moment I enjoyed was looking and seeing that Isana got her promotion. She is the 4th squad captain. Pretty cool. Next moment I enjoyed was finding out that they were all going to a new captain ceremony, and we kind of all knew at that point who the new captain was be, especially when you get the beginning with Kiraku at Ukitake's grave. Made a lot of sense. So then, the next moment I enjoyed was the captain lineup, and we saw in it that Rose is alive as well, since Kensei is alive, so obviously Rose would be alive, and we saw that Lisa is now taking the place of Kiraku, so that was a nice little addition there, and it didn't get that much attention, but I enjoyed that we got it regardless. And finally, it happens, the moment that we see the new captain walking in, and it's Rukia. She has longer hair, and I think it's a very adorable moment. Her little interaction with Renji at the beginning was also very adorable. So I very much love that little moment. And then finally, one last moment at the end was Akon's promotion. He got vice captain for Mayuri's squad. And then we end off the chapter with seeing the Ryatsu spiking on the measuring devices. So overall, this chapter was just showing that the characters are okay, which characters are alive, which characters dead, which characters got their promotion. And what can I say? It's a very peaceful chapter. I think I'm happy to see the characters so happy and moving forward with their lives. There's a lot of weird feelings going on. We had that moment with Hitsugaya also commenting on peace during the Shuhei segment and how for 10 years nothing bad happened. And I guess that's okay. They deserve a break, right? I imagine that most of the time, Shinigami history isn't the most exciting thing. It was really with Ichigo and Aizen's existence that things really started to ramp up, and it's, I think, totally believable that they could go back to peace and just do things like they normally did. And having that ceremony there was nice. Next chapter is going to be interesting. We're probably going to find out what happened to Ichigo and the humans. So I'm interested in seeing where Ichigo is now 10 years later. Anyway, peeps, let me know what you think of this chapter. I pretty much just went through and listed out moments that I thought stood out. And I told you what I overall feel about this chapter. It's a happy chapter. It's just about moving on. And I think that's a very powerful message for this particular chapter. There are moments that you can definitely take and look at. Mostly the thing with Mayuri, the significance of what he named next Nemu. And also if you were to look at, the revivals of the 2 captains, that'd also be very interesting. And now also the Ryatsu at the end. Whatever happens in chapter 686, I'll be happy, I think. Anyway, peeps, till next time, I think I really like this chapter, and I think I'll leave it there. Have a good day.